Many examples of use cases in the official FinOps documentation just simplify things for the sake of learning, and that's a good thing. At the same time, it's important to reconnect that learning FinOps, the theoretical FinOps, with the reality of a day-to-day to make FinOps happen in a company. And this connection is what I'm trying to deliver during a workshop that I'm holding in New York, possibly Atlanta, and even possibly wherever you are, depending on demand. At the moment, I'm focusing on the US. If you know me, you know that I care about top-down FinOps. I'm screaming it out all over the place. So for me, it all starts from the intent, the CEO intent. The CEO's job is to make sure the company doesn't go under. That's the company is not bankrupt. That's the first job of a CEO, is to make sure, or at least try as hard as they can, to have the company survive. Under the CEO, there are other executives, and their job is to take some risk in exchange for potential rewards. The interesting bit is that we don't talk about this risk-reward dynamic. And also, we do not talk enough about the difference of risk and rewards depending on the company or the industries. So that's why, for the workshop, I've decided to create 5 fictitious companies and become their CEO. Starting with what would be my intent. I wrote that as an email, and then from that email, I wrote an example of what would be the debate in the executive committee. When you start having other executive debate, making that their understanding and their position of that intent. Because the board also cares about risk, you go into what is the risk and reward, as we talked about. The risk committee is another element that I've added. So you have the CEO intent, then you have the executive committee, and then you have some sort of a risk committee. And then you also have AI system and cost exposure. That's more coming from external entities like advisor, auditors, because usually you will want someone to have an objective view of your company, a third-party view, an independent view. That's what I do as a job. That's my job. And so all these documents are ready and are available to connect together FinOps practitioners, what they really need to do. This, in the end, gets summarized into a document that I see as the FinOps in some form of mandate. That is something that I can go to the executive and then sign off. I have, in particular, a high-level summary, including the company archetype. What is the mission for this quarter? What is the CEO mandate in one line? What is the CTO mandate in one line? What is the AI ambition if we're talking about AI? Then there is a second bit, which is what are the constraints? What are the rules of the game? How do we care about risk? How do we care about speed? What is the tolerance for budget pressure? What do we need to follow as compliance? What are the organizational reality? Then there is the section about red lines. What must not happen? For example, what could that be? What are the 3 or 4 things that we really need to protect ourselves against? And that's going to be vastly different depending on the type of company. A small or a retail company with very thin margin, you cannot drop margin in any form or way. A startup, newly funded startup company will need to find a product market fit fast. They are vastly different red lines than the others. Then we go into what is the primary success definition for the next 90 days? And it's just one line. It's easy. So what does success look like for the next 90 days? And then where do we start? What are the currently where are we strong as a FinOps practice? Where are we weak as a FinOps practice? And that all of this will inform our strategic policy focus. What is the potential high-level strategic policy that we want to have that's going to help us deliver on our newly built mandate? And then last is what is the rollout posture? How fast can we go in delivering? Is this a big bang approach? We don't care, we just want to go fast, or this is going to be slow and regular? And it really, really depends on the risk appetite of the company and the type of company you are.